Heads Queen Mother Olatunji, Master Teacher for the Freedom Party.
I am so grateful that I live to see melanized Nubian people that are aspiring to become presidents of the United States, governors of the United States, congressmen, assemblymen. However, we ourselves will have to see ourselves there. We have to speak it into existence. When our current president, President Barack Obama, set his thoughts that 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue would become his next address, that was the first time racism had been addressed out loud. And now people really are not that much interested in talking about racism, but they're practicing it. And they're practicing it because for all of the elected officials, you don't see anybody that you can identify with. What does that mean? It means that we just hadn't thought about it. And we are now speaking it to existence. I see our brother Charles Barron as becoming the next governor of the Empire State, New York State. And I sway the vote by deciding who I am going to vote for. Because I have seen people, what you have to understand is that you represent us and you work for us. And we either put you in that office or we would take you out of the office. And we have some elected officials who have not responded to my request and my just telephoning to speak to them to get an appointment. And now when they get ready to go back for re-election, I'm going to tell them how they behaved when they got the seat that they're sitting in now. But it is a game, the game of politics, and it's being played all over the world. And I want them to know that I know that I have a voice, because I came from Alabama, which was tough on melanized people 60 years ago. However, my uncle, who was the personal secretary to Dr. George Washington Carver, would have the train held for me in Birmingham. And now, if my uncle could have the station master to hold a 2-car train with the pot-belly stove in it for me 60 years ago, actually it was 64 years ago, what can we do in New York today? I don't want to hear no, can't, don't, not. My ears hear it, but I don't feel it when you tell me that, because I know with God all things are possible. And I'm looking for the possibility, not for the impossibility of it. And I can go around and sway the vote, because I never had a driver's license until I got to New York City, because I had to drive people for voter registration 66 years ago. And the policemen, when they caught us in the cars, they would tell us, follow me, and they would take us home. And the next day, when Miss Susie had to go and see about her mother in the country, my uncle would hand me the keys and tell me to go take Miss Susie to the country to see her mother. And I would say, Uncle Theodore, the policeman told you yesterday to keep the children out of the cars. He said, yes, but he never withdrew the key. So in other words, that's what the policeman wants. But what we want and need is something completely different. We need transportation. Now, there used to be a time when food, clothing, and shelter were the necessities of life. But we know now that food, clothing, shelter, and transportation, because had people been in charge of their transportation, many lives would have been saved in Katrina. And many people have not vibrated on that, because you would have gotten in your private vehicle and you would have driven yourself out, as members of my family did. We deserve transportation. We need transportation. We have transportation. And we are in charge of transportation. So each of you who is thinking what I need, you need 4 wheels and a machine that works, not something to get status from. Because there's nothing that they sell in the store that can make me better than that person who is lying in the gutter right now. There's nothing that money can buy that will make me better than anyone. So that's not the way to get status and esteem. That comes from within.
So you're going for the Freedom Party, Queen Mother Olatunji. Thank you so much.
Yes, they didn't teach us how to speak English. That's the reason I should be able to say this here, that there, or anything. We did well to learn to speak English walking in the fields. How are you going to learn English walking in the fields behind a big cotton sack? And that's the reason we need to be able to paddle our own canoe.
On that note, thank you so much, Queen Mother, for giving us your time, letting us know how we have to look at things. Thank you. Is there anything you want to say in closing?
I want to say that each of us is sacred, and each of you I love. And I love you because I cannot grow unless I love you. I might not like your behavior, and I would tell you if I dislike your behavior. But however, I love you. You're sacred. And I'm expecting the very, very best for you. Because each was placed here with a purpose. And go and do your purpose. Regardless of who says what. Because they told me that I couldn't wear my hair natural. But here it is. Here it is. I don't need to get to look like anyone. I'm complete and beautiful just as the Creator made me.